um, say what is different within a traffic stop
Yes, sir.
and a criminal stop when you pull over a driver?
Yes, sir. I think that the best thing, the best information that I can give the public is that you need to try to get a driver's license. If you don't have a driver's license, then I think you should study the manual and be familiar with the rules of the road in the state of Alabama. Number one, for your safety and for the safety of the people that are on the streets. And I think that that's very important, even if you don't have a driver's license, that you take the time to educate yourself in operating a motor vehicle. Because sometimes we have people that they're driving, they may get here and they don't learn how to drive, and they're trying to drive because they want to be employed and they need to get somewhere, they need to get their kids to and from school. So I think it's very important that they take the time, and I know it's available in English and Spanish. So I think it's very important that they learn those rules. The things that our officers look for as far as making traffic stops, whenever they make a traffic stop and interact with someone, would be not coming to a stop at a stop sign, turning right on red, which is something that you mentioned, that you have to come to a complete stop before you make a right-hand turn. Speeding, making sure you're familiar with the speed limits when you're there. Making sure, one thing that is very important is when you see a school bus that you're stopping for that. We do have a lot of unlicensed drivers that really don't understand that. But what our school buses have cameras on there, and sometimes we send tickets to people. They don't, they're loaning their vehicle to someone, or they purchase the vehicle for someone else to drive, and they get the citation in the mail. So it's very important, and for the safety of the community, that you make sure that you're familiar with the school buses and that you have to stop when you see them coming because the lights are flashing, letting you know that the sign is about to come out.
Perfect. In which cases could you detain the driver?
Well, the things that our officer would do is when they make a traffic stop, whenever the lights are turned on, then that's a traffic stop. The officer has to make that traffic stop for two reasons. The first reason is they could stop that car if it had been involved in a crime and they have reasonable suspicion to believe that that vehicle was involved in a crime that they were responding to. Which, for instance, let's say they received a call that there was a domestic violence or a fight or a robbery, and that the person was driving a green Impala. Then they see one stop, so they stop that because they have reasonable suspicion to believe that that was the suspect vehicle. The other reason would be just a traffic stop, and the person is detained while the officer is writing a citation, interviewing them, and under the current Alabama law that just went in effect, then if the person doesn't have a driver's license, they have no ID, and the officer determines by reasonable suspicion that the person may be an illegal immigrant, then they can check that. If you are someone that is here legally, then you would have something to show, a green card or work visa or something such as that, to let someone know that you're here legally. And that's usually the only interactions that we have that we're looking for, that the officers have a duty to do it. One of the exceptions to the new law is if it's someone that we're working with, that let's say they're a victim of a crime and they call us, or they're working with us to spoil other crimes, because there's a lot of crime in the community where Hispanic people are being victimized by Hispanics, and where Hispanic people are being victimized by others because they're taking advantage of them because they don't think that they will work with law enforcement. So it's very important for people to know that we're here to, number one, local law enforcement in this country is here to protect the communities in which they serve, regardless of anything, and to remove the people that are victimizing them. That is our number one thing. As a police chief, my number one thing is to make sure that my officers go home safe every day, that they work with the community well, and that we build a relationship with the community. And so that's the main thing that someone would have to look for is if you're making sure you're driving correctly, regardless of what your immigration status is, then you may not even get stopped if you learn how to drive